Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to beautiful Georgia, the hidden gem of Caucasus region located at the intersection of Eastern Europe and Western Asia. For long, shadowed by Soviet curtain from the outside world, Georgia has always been a fascinating destination with much to offer, and in this series I will attempt to show you why. We will experience its mountainscapes and oldest wineries, visit ancient cities, take a trip to one of the most remote places in the world, and most importantly, meet its kindest people along the way.
У них спросишь, потом...
Давай, за нас.
But for now, we traditionally begin with the capital city, and without further ado,
Gabriadze, beautiful people, and welcome to Tbilisi.
Founded in the 5th century, Tbilisi is considered one of the most ancient and picturesque cities of the Caucasus. Being strategically located along the ancient Silk Road, Tbilisi became an object of rivalry between numerous empires, including Roman, Persian, and Byzantine. This played a significant role on cultural development of the city, as each of these conquerors left its mark here. As a result, there is no surprise that modern Tbilisi combines a vast variety of cultures as well as its own unique style and charm, mostly evident by its old town called Kala. But we will return to it and take a closer look. For now, let's take a stroll down Tbilisi's main street, Shota Rustavelli Avenue. It is about 1.5 km long, and along the way you'll find numerous historic, cultural, government and business buildings, most notable being National Opera, Metekhi Church and Parliament Building. Shota Rustavelli Avenue is a symbol of freedom fighting for Georgian people, as numerous protests were held here, some ending tragically. It is no coincidence that the avenue ends with a beautiful Freedom Square with a magnificent Liberty Monument in the center, depicting St. George slaying the dragon, which represents the freedom and independence of the Georgian nation. Tbilisi's unique charm comes from its traditional architecture combined with contemporary art pieces scattered around the town. Georgian capital is spread out on both sides of the Kura River, and its banks are connected by numerous bridges, including one of Tbilisi's landmarks, the Peace Bridge. In this area, modern architecture is intertwined with historical buildings, giving the city a special appeal. And a little further, at the foot of the ancient fortress, the Georgian fairy tale, Tbilisi's old town called Kala lurks. But before we get to it, let's stop for a minute at the right bank of Kura River, specifically at Metekhi Church. It is considered to be one of the most photographed places in Tbilisi, because from here, the old town looks especially beautiful. It is believed that the first temple appeared here during the reign of King Gorgasali in the 5th century. The name Metekhi translates to around the palace, indicating that once here was a royal residence. Neither the first temple nor the palace survive until our days, and the existing church was rebuilt in the 20th century, serving as a place of worship for many locals. Across from Metekhi Church, at the foot of ancient fortress, lies the neighborhood of Sololaki. It is a cozy and charming district in the heart of Tbilisi's old town. Sololaki is loved by locals and tourists for its historic buildings, beautiful sights, and unique small streets. However, the most important reason to come here is the views of Tbilisi. One of the sites that serves as a perfect viewing platform is the 4th century Narikala Fortress. It is highly likely that here you will take the best photo of Tbilisi, although the fortress itself is definitely worth a visit, especially because the entrance is free.
As you can see, once you get here, the whole town, the whole Tbilisi is in front of you, and this is the best viewpoint in the city to experience the whole beauty of Tbilisi.
In close proximity to Narikala, you will find another famous site of Sololaki, Kartli's Dada, or Mother of Georgia monument. From here, equally beautiful views of Tbilisi will open up.
There's an option to take a cable car, which is not operating at the moment for some reason, or a cab to get here.
As for the monument itself, it was built in 1958, the year Tbilisi celebrated 15th anniversary. Yes, Tbilisi is almost 16 centuries old. The figure of the woman wearing a national dress symbolizes Georgian character. In her left hand, she holds a bowl of wine to welcome its friends, and in the right hand is a sword for those who came as enemies. At the base of Sololaki and in the heart of colorful Kala Old Town, one of the most popular attractions can be found, Tbilisi's Sulfur Bath. In the Abano-Tubami neighborhood, numerous sulfur bath houses are clustered together. They are located below ground level and some have semi-circular domed ceilings that allow natural light to stream through. Aside from providing a relaxing experience, these springs played an important role in forming today's Tbilisi.
So let's talk about Tbilisi a little bit. The old name is Tiflis, which means warm place, and it has largely to do with the sulfur bath here. So the legend goes that in 458, the king of Georgia, King Vakhtang, he was hunting in nearby forest, and he ended up shooting a pheasant that fell in one of these hot springs, and miraculously was healed and flew away. After seeing this, King Vakhtang was so impressed that he ordered to build a new town around here and call it Tiflis. Eventually, he moved the old capital Mtsheta, the town that I'm actually gonna go tomorrow, to here and call it Tiflis.
Because of Tbilisi's position on the old Silk Road, bathing became very popular not only with locals but also with people passing through the city on their journey between Asia and Europe. Whether you're here for relaxation, its health benefits, or its colorful buildings, Tbilisi's bathhouses is a must visit. Tbilisi is a hip and artsy town. It is home to many local artists. As a result, walking around here, you will notice many art installations. However, some of them are more special than others. An example is a sculpture of Tamada.
The concept of Tamada was introduced to Georgian culture hundreds and hundreds of years back. This was a toastmaster, the leading guy at the table that would lead the party for the whole duration of it. And I must say this wasn't an easy job to do because it requires for the person to be very artistic and a very good psychologist to make a right toast at the right time. Otherwise, it's kind of dangerous.
One of the most interesting buildings located on Shafteli Street is Rezo Gabriadze Marionette Theater. Gabriadze was a true master of Soviet cinematography. An idea to open the theater came to him in the early 80s, and it was an instant success. But the theater is not only famous for its performances. In 2010, it was decorated with an unusual tower, which is often argued to be one of the most recognized attractions of Tbilisi. Every hour, an angel appears in the window and beats the bell with a small hammer. You will get especially lucky if you find yourself here around noon or at 7 p.m. This is when a small performance is being played, called the Cycle of Life. With Christianization of Iberia, Georgia has become one of the first countries to adopt Christianity. As a result, religion has always played an important role here, and today many ancient churches are scattered around the country and Tbilisi as well.
The significance of Anchisthati Cathedral is that it is actually the oldest building in the whole Tbilisi. This church went through numerous wars. It was damaged over the years. During communist era, they actually tried to remove all the paintings on the walls, but it did survive and it was restored. When you're inside and you look at something from the 6th century, you get like shivers all around your skin, and it's quite impressive. It's not a very popular cathedral, but not a lot of people know that this is actually the oldest one in Tbilisi. So if you have a chance, check it out. It's very nice.
Anchisthati means Anchis icon and has a long backstory. The church was first dedicated to Virgin Mary, but in 17th century it was renamed due to the fact that the icon of Christ was moved here from Ancha monastery. The reason behind it was to save it from potential destruction by Ottomans, who invaded Georgian lands at that time. Today, the Anchi icon is displayed at the Museum of Fine Arts. As for the church itself, even with mostly damaged interior, it has gorgeous frescoes providing a peek into Georgia's history. Continuing on the topic of religion, we move towards Ilya Hill in the historic neighborhood of Avlabari. Here, another iconic site of Tbilisi can be located. Commonly known as Sameba, the main Orthodox Church of Georgia is the third tallest Eastern Orthodox cathedral in the world. It was constructed between 1995 and 2004 and mostly paid by anonymous donations from the citizens. The total area of cathedral is 3,000 square meters and it can accommodate up to 10,000 people. While making the foundation of the church, pieces from holy spots were brought in. Examples are the rocks from Sion Mountain, the Jordan River, soil from Jerusalem, and the grave of St. George. The church is designed in a spirit of modernism, as its architecture has little similarities with old traditions. There are beautiful frescoes created under supervision of the icon painter Amiran Goglidze. It is a beautiful sight of Tbilisi, and if you have a chance to stop here, I promise you won't regret it. Just 20 kilometers from Tbilisi, at the confluence of the Mtsheta and Aragvi rivers, one of the holiest places in Georgia is located. An ancient city of Mtsheta is over 3,000 years old. Once a vibrant town on an ancient silk trade route, today Mtsheta is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that welcomes hundreds of tourists and pilgrims from around the world. With the move of capital status to Tbilisi, Mtsheta continued to be the religious center of the country, as Georgian kings and patriarchs were still buried here. There are two must-see sites in Mtsheta. First is the 6th century Jvari Monastery. Located on the hill and overlooking the city, this Georgian Orthodox church is UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. The name of the temple Jvari translates to the cross and is said to be the site where Saint Nino planted the sacred cross to symbolize Georgia's acceptance of Christianity in the 4th century. The architectural structure of the church is what is known as tetraconch, having a circular center with 4 niche wings to symbolize the shape of the cross. Sparse-worn pieces of ancient mosaic still adhere to the inside walls. The stark interior is dominated by a life-size wooden cross. In the center of the church, the original foundation to which the sacred cross of Nino was once affixed is still exposed. The temple of the Sacred Cross Monastery, referred to as Big Jvari, was built in year 1600 and has since drawn Christian pilgrims from across the region. Today, Jvari is one of the primary places of gathering for celebration during the New Year's and Easter. The second must-see site in Mtsheta is Shota Cathedral. It was built on the site of the demolished 4th century 12 Apostles Church. Shota is a grand cathedral of tetraconch design. The temple facades are decorated with stone carving characteristics of Georgian architecture of the late 10th and 11th centuries. Name of the church Shota means living pillar, and the legend goes that when Jesus was crucified in the 1st century, there was a Georgian Jew from Mtsheta. He went to Jerusalem and managed to buy the robe that Jesus was wearing at the time of a Roman soldier. He brought it back to Mtsheta and gave it to his sister. His sister eventually passed away, and on her grave a cedar tree has grown. At some point, Saint Nino, a person who baptized Georgia, ordered to cut down the tree and make 7 pillars to build the church. And so those 7 pillars are the base of Shota right now, hence the name the Living Pillar. Shotaveli's interior walls were once fully adorned with medieval frescoes, but many of them did not survive. The mantles of Christ and the prophet Ilya are both preserved here, as well as the tomb of Tbilisi's founder, King Gorgasali. Throughout the Middle Ages until now, Mtsheta has remained the heart of Georgian religious culture, and a short trip from Tbilisi here is highly recommended. As for me, the first part of my journey ends here, and in anticipation of the next day, I'm heading back to the capital.